A second structure has been found underneath the pyramids of Giza, according to the team who found the last structure that went viral about a month or two ago. So we'll look at exactly what they found, as well as the theory that giants built the pyramid, some of the impossibilities around it, and my take on fallen angel technology, because that's another theory as well. So I'll read this article about the scientists and what they found apparently, and put some images up on the screen of the x-rays, as well as just some other images. Earlier this year, researchers shocked the world with claims of a massive underground structure beneath the Khafre pyramid. Now they say they've discovered more hidden architecture under the Menkaure pyramid, suggesting the three Giza pyramids may be just the surface markers of a buried mega complex linked by a vast tunnel network thousands of feet below. We're talking about pillars over 2,000 feet long, spiral formations, and consistent architectural features, said Filippo Biondi, co-author of the research. The data indicates an interconnected infrastructure, one that might have once harnessed the elements of air, water, fire, and earth. But critics aren't buying it. Mainstream archaeologists and Egyptologists have dismissed the findings as a total scam, pointing to the unverified nature of the claims and concerns over the ground-penetrating technology used, which they say simply can't see that deep. Still, the researchers remain adamant. They believe these ancient pillars weren't built 4,500 years ago like the pyramids, but possibly by a long-lost civilization dating back 38,000 years. One wiped out by a global cataclysm, possibly a comet strike around 12,800 years ago. Some say that sounds a little too close to ancient alien lore, and with no peer-reviewed studies or physical excavations yet, many experts are urging the public to stay skeptical. Until someone digs it up, it's all speculation, said Professor Lawrence Connors, a radar imaging specialist. Still, whether it's fantasy or the next big rewrite of human history, one thing's certain: the sands of Giza may still be hiding secrets far older than we ever imagined. Here are some animations of the column structures, according to the radar, as I showed in those images, that people have put together. Again, the pyramids of Egypt, they are a complete impossibility with what we know about them. We'll watch a clip showing some of the very strange things surrounding them, and again, how they are a completely impossible structure, in my opinion, without at least the help of giants, or what some people call fallen angel technology. In my opinion, it's just fallen angel knowledge of how they knew to do things. So we'll look at some of the giant stuff, because that really, even in Egypt's depictions and their drawings, there's giants all over the place. So why would they have that if these things did not exist in their culture? Many of these pictures, just there's no other explanation. Obviously, there's the feet there of one being way bigger than the feet of another human being. There's so many of these. We have different ones here, different sizes here. I mean, these look like adults. Some people might say they're kids, but it really goes on and on. Here we have a being holding up three other people. And, you know, if you believe what the Bible says, that there were giants in the earth in those days, and after that, then there were giants. And then that could really explain how these pyramids were built. Again, that's what I believe. I think it was the giants, as well as potentially some understanding from the fallen angels, which is why we see impossible architecture all around the world in many different places. I'll put some more of these images up while I read some of the history of giants in Egypt. The land of Egypt, famed for its towering pyramids and enigmatic gods, has long been linked to tales of giants, mighty beings of colossal stature who may have once walked the Nile's ancient banks. While mainstream Egyptology doesn't document a race of literal giants, hints linger in its mythology. Nibiru, or their gods, many deities like Osiris and Horus, are depicted as larger than life, sometimes dwarfing humans, symbolizing divine superiority, though some esoteric interpretations suggest this could hint at literal size. The Shemsu Hor, followers of Horus, these mysterious beings mentioned in the Turin king list and other king lists, ruled Egypt before the first pharaohs. Some fringe researchers speculate that they were giant beings or even alien hybrids. With the accounts of what we're told in the Bible of giants and fallen angels in the earth in the ancient times, this would make sense of giant beings in a time before the first pharaohs. Greek historian Herodias, 5th century BC, traveled to Egypt and reported stories passed down by priests. While he didn't explicitly mention giants, later Greek and Roman writers often portrayed Egypt as a land of ancient, godlike men who built massive stone monuments, fueling the belief they were of gigantic proportions. Ancient structures like the Great Pyramid of Giza defy explanation. Some fringe theories claim giants helped build the pyramids, given the sheer scale and mathematical precision of the construction. The supposed massive sarcophagi in places like the Serapeum of Saqqara are cited as evidence that giant beings were once entombed there. Genesis 6:4, the Book of Enoch, the Book of Giants, and other apocryphal texts mention the giant offspring of angels and human women. Some believe Egypt, known for its early advanced civilization, was a stronghold of these beings, especially before the flood. Og of Bashan, a biblical giant, is sometimes linked in speculative circles to the giants of North Africa. Through the 19th and 20th century, reports occasionally mentioned oversized skeletons unearthed near the pyramids, but these accounts were often unverified or quietly dismissed. No official recognized museum in Egypt currently displays giant human remains, leading some to believe they were hidden or suppressed. There are actually tons of ancient newspaper clippings that talk about giants that were found, skeletons that were found, given to museums, and then they disappeared, oftentimes with the Smithsonian. Here's just one on the side. You can see Smithsonian gets huge Indian skull. Again, there's tons of these articles. The Instagram page, Giants of Ancient America, has tons of them on their page. And it doesn't make sense that all of these would just be false. And, people have to call the police whenever they find bones. So people find these bones, they call the police, they call museums, they take them away, and then they disappear because there is an attempt to hide the truth of the Bible from the world. There's definitely evidence giants exist. If you believe the Bible, then you know that they did exist because it says they did. The other theory about the pyramids is that they were built by fallen angel technology. That's what is often referred to. The way that I view it, though, is that the fallen angels actually had a deeper understanding of how things operate and how things work. I don't think that they had, say, machines or something like this, even though maybe they did, because these UFOs are somehow connected to them, and these things appear to have metal crafts, so maybe it could. But in my opinion, it seems like it was more of an understanding of how things operate. Maybe they moved these things with sound, or they somehow crafted the stones. They could melt the stones, something along these lines. And I'll play this video just because this is something that's gone around recently about how just even the modern technology that we have today is connected to fallen angel technology because it's so insane. I mean, it just, looking at this microchip, they just zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and it's pretty amazing how complex these things are. And it's hard to imagine that human beings could even come up with this stuff. It's pretty crazy when you think about the history of the world and how they were using like horses and chariots and stuff like that, like literally up until 250 years ago. Now we have jets and airplanes and this type of microchip. There's been a massive advance, which this could all connect really with the understanding of the pyramids in relation to Daniel 12:4, which says, "But you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase." Knowledge is definitely increasing. And I think what we're also seeing is some of the sins of Egypt that Egypt were known for, that God brought judgment against them for, are increasing as well. Murder, adultery, theft, bribery, treason, grave robbing. This is some of the things they did. And that's increasing in the world today again. So Egypt still has its influence in the world. So this is my take on this whole thing. It's interesting. I think there's a possibility for sure there's something under the pyramids. It would for sure, in my opinion, again, be linked to the fallen angels, their offspring, the giant, who built every single one of these impossible mega structures around the world in the past. No other thing makes sense in my eyes. And, it's not a racist thing either. Some people have brought up that claim. It's not that I don't think people in Egypt could build something like that. If that thing existed in any part of Europe, I would still say was fallen angel giant technology, and some of them do. There's some in Russia. They're all over the world. And doesn't make any sense that all these people around the world with no communication were building the same impossible structures, and almost all of them building pyramids without the same influence as some force, and that was the fallen angels and their offspring, the giants, which again, why many of these other cultures around the world also have depictions of giants as well. So that's my opinion on the pyramids, how they were built. We'll end the video with this video of just some of the impossibilities surrounding the pyramids of Egypt that show that these weren't just made by human beings. There was a supernatural and evil supernatural influence that had these things get built.
This thing is just a gigantic mystery. The fact that it incorporates the dimensions of our planet in its key dimensions, that you can take the height of the Great Pyramid and multiply by 43,200 and you get the polar radius of the Earth. You can measure the base perimeter of the Great Pyramid, multiply it by the same number, you get the equatorial circumference of the Earth. I won't bore you, but that number is not a random number. That it relates to the obscure astronomical phenomenon called precession of the equinoxes. Great Pyramid is almost perfectly aligned to true north within 3/60ths of a single degree. 13-acre footprint, 6 million tons, 481 feet high, and aligned to true north with this incredible precision. And it's built on a scale that models the dimensions of the Earth, and that scale is derived from a key motion of the Earth itself. It's very, very clever.
There are these key numbers that recur over and over again. We find them in the Vedas, we find them in the Bible, we find them in Mayan traditions. They were in Sumeria over and over again. And one of those key numbers, what Bert Graham just said, 43,200. Even in the way we still measure time today, if you think about how do we measure the length of one orbit, one rotation of the Earth on its axis, the meridian lining up with the center of the sun, we've divided that into seconds, right? Minutes, hours. 24 hours is the exact period of the Earth's rotation with respect to the sun, okay? 24 hours times 60 means there's 86,400 seconds exactly in that period. On the moment of vernal equinox, the period of time of darkness and of light are exactly equal, 43,200. That number is the scaling ratio of the pyramid. If we were to take the pyramid as it is today, enlarge it by a factor of 43,200, the height of it is literally within a few hundred feet of being the polar radius of the Earth. And in fact, the range of error is within the range of error of our most accurate modern satellite surveys.